Despite crashes, chaos, and a seemingly invincible opponent, Jonas Vingegaard managed to win the Tour de France 2022. This is how he managed to do it. Now, if you remember in 21, Roglic crashed. Poggi from the first TT through the mountains, through the medium mountains, Portet Ardennes was dominant, but Vingegaard won the white jersey. Came second, but he was a long way back. There was one wobble though for Pogačar on Ventoux, but he didn't end up losing time that stage and pulled off the win easily for his second Tour de France victory. And in the lead up to the Tour last year, it didn't look like anything had changed. At Tirreno, he slapped Jonas, Richie Porte and Mas easily on the Carpena Queen stage. They weren't close to him at all. In the Slovenian Tour of Slovenia beforehand, he and Michael were playing rock, paper, scissors for stage wins. But Jumbo-Visma brought a new look to the Dauphiné, where they too dominated, with Jonas riding a sort of a 1B leader for Roglic, who ended up winning GC overall. But on the Solaizon stage, we saw that on the long climbs, Jonas Vingegaard was at least Roglic equal, and so could that duo make Tadej Pogačar sweat like he hadn't before? But in Denmark, it wasn't that hot. No one was going to sweat too much in Denmark, maybe just some nervous moments in the flat sprint stages. Pogačar brought a pretty strong team, although Trentin was replaced with Hirschi, and Jumbo unveiled their two leaders, Roglic and Jonas Vingegaard. But how would they use them against Pogačar? Stage 4 to Calais, where Jumbo-Visma and their super rouleurs had an opportunity to take time on Poggi, but Wout dropped Jonas and Adam Yates. And so despite Van Aert going, or in the yellow jersey, winning the stage, there was no GC time taken back by Jumbo-Visma. And then on stage 5, the cobbles stage, this was an absolute disaster, with Van Aert and Kruijswijk crashing, Van Aert nearly crashing again, Bettiol chasing Paulus and Cort up the road. And one of the funniest moments of the race was when Vingegaard dropped his chain, a bad inside chain drop, changed bike with Van Hooijdonk, who's about 10 times too big, then changed to Kruijswijk's bike, who's still pretty too big, and then he changed to his actual bike whilst Van Aert waited ahead. And at the same time they were coming back, with Laporte with Roglic, a hay bale clipped by a motorbike took out Roglic, and then Bettiol and Poggi launched, with Pogačar taking 13 seconds with Sturven ahead of Vingegaard, but nearly 2 minutes on Primož Roglic. So once again, before they even hit a mountain stage, Jumbo-Visma seemingly in disarray, and the next day it got even worse, with Pogačar taking 10 more bonus seconds, winning the stage to Longwy ahead of Vingegaard and Roglic. So it looked exactly like a repeat of the year before, with Pogačar dominating on all terrain, and before they even hit a 10-minute climb, he's up to 30 seconds on Jonas Vingegaard.
Is it important to get the yellow jersey today?
No, I wouldn't mind it, but yeah, for sure, I'm super happy to take the win. Anything else is just a bonus, and yeah, we think about these next days.
And when there was the first 20-minute uphill test on La Planche de Belfi, Pogačar was smiling, putting his teammates to work, going for the stage win on the 20-minute climb. Dropped off a little bit too early from Micah. He was a little bit nervous after the stage because Vingegaard actually put an attack into him on the steepest section, and Pogačar wasn't immediately in the wheel, but as it leveled off at the end, that little moment where we thought, oh, maybe Vingegaard's going to actually win the stage. Nope, Pogačar in yellow takes another stage, takes another 4 seconds on Vingegaard, takes another 10 seconds on Roglic, and we were left questioning what could Jumbo do to a rider who had now beaten them in an uphill sprint, beaten them on the cobbles, and beat them in the first uphill test.
Do you feel a lot of pressure on your shoulders?
I don't know, a little bit, yeah, but it's no problem.
But that all changed when we hit the first proper high mountain stage, the stage to Col du Granon with the Telegraph Galibier combo before Van Aert and Laporte in the break ahead. UAE controlling La Vernier and the starter telegraph before Benoit launches Roglic out of a large group, necessitating a chase from Yates on Ineos, but importantly Pogačar with Vingegaard on the wheel. This is the first dig, doesn't go anywhere, closed down by UAE, they start setting tempo again, and then over the top of the telegraph, Roglic launches, and he connects with Laporte, who'd been in the breakaway, waited up, and now we see Pogačar starting to be put under pressure on the radio. Where are you? Marc Soler actually was there. I still don't know what happened to him a year later, because he's in front of G right now, and G makes this group. And so whether I don't know. At the end of the descent, after Laporte pinged it, barrage of attacks that have become famous from Roglic and Vingegaard, forcing Pogačar to chase over and over and over again, over a half dozen attacks. And this was the base of the Galibier proper, and we still got the Granon afterwards, and Pogačar is under pressure, wondering where Soler is, and then when they get onto the steeper sections of the Galibier, Pogačar's had enough. With Roglic attacking, he decided, even though Kruijswijk, at this point, comes forward to set a firm tempo, Pogačar already was sick of the double teaming from Roglic and Vingegaard. Because otherwise, with Kruijswijk setting a steady tempo with him in the wheel, why would he attack again? And that was because Roglic was dropped behind, and he wanted to keep Roglic behind. But the problem with that was, he's got Jonas Vingegaard in his wheel for the whole of the Galibier, and he's pacing to go nowhere because he's got no teammates ahead. He's not going to pace the descent in the valley before Granon with Vingegaard, so he's just basically setting this quickest possible time to the top. Now, maybe he didn't want Vingegaard to attack across to Van Aert ahead, but when you see here at the end of Galibier, he just sits up. Was that a result of the psychological pressure Jumbo had put on him with Roglic behind and Van Aert ahead? At that point on the way to Col de Granon, it didn't really look like it was under pressure, with Pogačar smiling at the camera, joking that it had been a really, really hard stage, but Jumbo weren't laughing, serious faces only, with Roglic launching, but then it started to go all UAE's way, with Roglic dropping at the start of Granon, and Micah, he dropped Kuss at this point. So it's actually all of a sudden 2 UAE, 1 Jumbo before Quintana attacked, and then Bardet attacked, and then no response from Poggi before Vingegaard attacked on the steep section nearing 2,000 meters elevation, and Pogačar could not respond. The lights went out. Thomas dropping him, Gaudu dropping him, Yates dropping him, but most importantly, Jonas Vingegaard, who started the stage about 40 seconds behind, took nearly 3 minutes on Pogačar. He'd absorbed the jabs of Pogačar in week 1, losing bonus seconds, and then landed a haymaker, kind of a knockout blow, based on how the rest of the tour went, on that Col du Granon stage, going 2 minutes 22 ahead of him. But now he's got a target on his back. Now you've become the hunted, and the last man you want hunting you in a Grand Tour is Pogačar, with the point to prove, who attacked him for the next 10 stages on Alpe d'Huez in breakaway formation when Jumbo kind of lost control a little bit to panic Vingegaard, on short watt per kilo tests like on Mont, and even when Vingegaard then crashed in the Carcassonne stage 15, it looked like the door might be opening for Pogačar, but after the second rest day, Jumbo-Visma's team played a big role in shutting down anything he could do, getting teammates ahead, having Kuss with Vingegaard, as Pogačar says himself.
Yeah, today in the final climb would make no sense because there was Kuss really strong and Van Aert in the front, so I wouldn't make any different on the downhill. So yeah, it was a hard day, but I'm looking forward for the next 2 days.
But they couldn't help him every day. On stage 17, Bjerg and McNulty, with Soler out sick, put on an absolute show, dropping the whole Jumbo team, including Kuss, but they couldn't drop the one man that mattered, on Perigord, and it actually looked like Vingegaard was doing it more comfortably than Pogačar, who did then win the uphill sprint at the end, but not the time he needed to take back. Remember, he's over 2 minutes back, and you could even see his chances to win the Tour were going down stage by stage.
Do you feel that Jonas Vingegaard is suffering?
Yeah, probably.
But the last mountain stage to Altacam, Jonas Vingegaard seemingly only having to defend. I mean, he's not going to lose most likely 2.5 minutes in the TT. Or Pogačar was on the attack again on Spandell after McNulty paced, But again, despite being strong, he couldn't drop Vingegaard uphill, so why not try downhill with Vingegaard nearly crashing, clipping his pedal of his own fault on the technical Spandell descent before Pogačar himself went straight in a corner and then crashed on the gravel on the side of the road with Vingegaard waiting for him. Didn't make the Netflix series, but this is one of the highlights of the Tour and where Pogačar, I think, gave up on winning the Tour proper, with Kuss coming back, driving it over 6 watts per kilo on Altacam, delivering him to Van Aert with the green jersey, then putting the final nail in the coffin, dropping Pogačar with Vingegaard, proving he was the best pure climber in the Tour de France 2022. Huge Altacam performance after Col de Grenelle, taking another minute on Tadej Pogačar and sealing the race. Nearly crashed in the TT in stage 20 to Rocamadour, but no matter. Yellow jersey. That's how Jonas Vingegaard won the Tour de France 2022. Let me know what you think. Who is going to win this year? Will Poggy take revenge? Make sure you check out the Lanterne Rouge Cycling Podcast Tour de France preview. I'll see you with highlights of every stage of the tour coming up this Saturday. Ciao.